أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على نبينا الكريم محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى أهله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of Talk That Talk with Ardent Flair with me, Mariam Umar Mariga, as your host. As you all know, Talk That Talk is an avenue where Muslim youth sit and discuss issues pertaining to our development and our religion, and also how we are going to be the upcoming generation of the Muslim Ummah. Today in the studio, I have Hawa Muhammad Kabir, and we will be talking about a very important topic: how to remain a modern but religious Muslim as a teenager. A lot of us see people older than us, be it celebrities or people that are of high regard in the society, and they're putting aside, or should I say, they are leaving their deen and just upholding what the Western society gives them. Now, this gives them a good public image, quite all right. Their accounts are always, verified, but their accounts are not verified for the hereafter. They have a good public, image. They have a good reputation in this world, but they have a very bad reputation in the hereafter. So, of what use is that kind of life? So, we would hear from our guest speaker today, Hawa Muhammad Kabir, how we can strive to remain modern but still a religious youth. Hawa, Jazakallah khairan for honoring my invitation and coming here again. I really appreciate it.
It is my honor.
Okay, so I'm sure our viewers would like to know from you, Hawa, how can we balance the two? How can we balance our religious life, and how can we also remain good Muslims, especially if we want to, move along with the 21st century? How can I live as a 21st century teen and still remain relevant in my deen?
Living in the 21st century as a Muslim youth is not an easy thing because there are a lot of challenges, a lot of distractions surrounding us. And one of the eminent challenge for the Muslim youth of today is their environment and how that environment can determine their perception towards Islam. That is why Islam places such high emphasis on the concept of child psychology and how a child is to be brought up, because good upbringing by parents will go a long way in developing the Muslim community. And there are a lot of things out there that truly want to be relevant in their deen, but they do not know how to do it. So what I'll suggest is that you start first with developing a good and strong relationship with Allah. Engage in your prayers, your fasting, sadaqat, and other forms of ibadat, and also following the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then you should also seek knowledge. As the saying goes, knowledge is power. So by seeking knowledge, you're attaining 65 to 70% of your goal. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has also said that طلب العلم فريضة لكل Muslim. Seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every Muslim. And in our time, seeking knowledge is very easy. You can do it while laying on your bed.
To the tips of our fingers.
Exactly. You can do it drinking your coffee or in any of your most comfortable position. So try and acquire deep understanding of Islam by reading the Quran, the Hadith, on other Islamic books, because that will enable you to navigate all the modern challenges while still staying true to Islamic principles, and also uphold moral and ethical values. You can call it manners, courtesy, adab, or akhlaq, whatever it is. What is important is you should know that Islam places such high emphasis on moral values. So even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I was sent to perfect good behaviors. So you see, one of the mission for the Prophet is to perfect our own characters. That is why even though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has outlined for us so many basic ethics in the Quran which are applicable in our day-to-day lives. Like he said, we should be kind to the orphan, we should be patient, and giving out sadaqah. He said, up to the end. So many verses in the Quran teach us about how to be moral in all our conduct and relationship with people, how to forgive each other, how to treat everyone equally without any discrimination. And by doing that, you are creating a beneficial pathway for you as an individual and also to the Muslim community. And try to strike balance between your worldly aspiration and your religion. You can pursue your education, you can pursue your career goals, your hobbies, but try to keep in mind your religious obligations and stay on track. and also, if possible, participate in community activities, participate in community services and charitable acts that will also promote positivity in the society. But the tip I want to stress on is technology. Use it wisely, because one of the major the main source of distraction and a challenge to us as Muslims living in this century is technology. These devices, our phones, tabs, laptops, social media sites, they promote activities which contradict our Islamic teachings. So try to utilize those social platforms and online resources to seek knowledge and connect with like-minded people, and also spread positive information about Islam.
That's a very comprehensive description of how we can be relevant in the deen. We are actually unaware of how attractive Islamic dressing is, and we tend to, pick up the foreign ones, the imported ones, from maybe people that we think are very fashionable, maybe in the music industry or in the fashion industry, and we see all these things, via advertisements or on TV, films, things like that. So how do we, understand? Because it's really unbelievable how you see Muslim teens actually living the dress code of Islam and picking up the Western code of dressing. So how can we embody the spirit of Islam in our dressing and our relations with people?
Well, that you can do that by following the instructions of Allah. When He said in Surah An-Nur, verse 31, He said, وَقُلِّ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا. And say to the believing women to lower their gazes, guard their modesty, and also to cover their beauty except what has to be revealed. So by being modest in your dressing, it means to wear loosely fitting clothes that will cover your body completely without revealing your shape or any part of your aura. And also you should cover your hair completely, not partially, like most things of today do. So and also it is part of being modest by grooming yourself in a neat and tidy manner. And one thing about being modest in your dressing is that, apart from the fact that you're following the instructions of Allah, which will, by the way, earn you Allah's mercy and reward, there is also this extra respect that keeps coming your way. You feel more protected and confident when you go out into the society, and people will also take you more seriously. But when it comes to relationship with other people, you are expected to be kind, generous, caring to other people. You should show them compassionate behaviors, so no matter, regardless of what their faith or background is, and treat them as you want to be treated. Like Prophet Muhammad said, "La yu'minu ahadukum hatta yuhibbu li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsihi." None of you truly believes until he wants for his brother what he wants for himself. And also try to forgive each other and do not bear grudges with anyone. Prophet also said, "Ta'afu tasqulu dhaga'ina bainakum." Forgive each other and drop the grudges between yourself, and maintain good family ties. It is of utmost importance for every Muslim to maintain good relationship with his family. The Prophet Muhammad has also said that let he who believes in Allah and the last day, let he maintain good relations with his king. So show your family some support, caring, and love. Treat your elders with honor and respect. By upholding these values, you are forming a good relationship with people surrounding you. And also, how you treat people is reciprocal. If you are kind to them, they'll be kind to you back, and it goes the other way too. So treat them with kindness, because you never know whose help you will need in the later life.
The next future. There are a lot of problems that we face on our own. For you to actually be striving towards a good is not even something hard. You can strive to maybe enjoin people to do good or stop bad or something. But the greatest jihad, the greatest sacrifice you have to make is the jihad of, battling your own temptations. So like the Prophet ﷺ said, the greatest jihad is to battle the temptations of one's soul. How so?
Most people take jihad as armed struggle or going out for war. But primarily it means to struggle or strive for the sake of Allah. So in a broader sense, we can understand jihad as an inner struggle against one's own desire and temptation in order to achieve self-growth and spiritual development. So Even though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. As for he who feared to stand before his Lord and restrained himself from his desires, then the paradise will be his refuge. That is why Prophet Muhammad said in a hadith that was reported by Fadala ibn Ubayd, he said, Al-Mujahid man jahada nafsahu fi sabilillahi azza wa jal. The one who strives in the way of Allah is he who strives against his own soul. So this statement, jihad being the greatest jihad being the battle or the battle against your own temptations or against your own soul, it emphasizes the importance of self-discipline and self-control. It suggests that one of the most challenging and essential battle a person can undertake is the inner struggle against your negative inclinations, such as greed, anger, jealousy, or ego. So by resisting this temptation and trying to align your actions with the good and moral values, you are cultivating virtuous values or virtuous principles such as humility, compassion, and gratitude and the rest. And also, conquering your inner struggles wouldn't like benefit you alone. It will also benefit the society as you become a source of inspiration and guidance to other people. Yes.
Well, viewers, I think you should subscribe, because if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel and you've watched till now, then you should subscribe and hit the notification button so that you can get more updates of our show. Back to our talk. How can we cultivate Islamic discipline in our daily life and still be the modern lady we want to be? Because you need to sacrifice a lot of things. That's one. Deen sacrifice. Not that you're sacrificing your deen, but you're sacrificing other things for your deen. You're sacrificing maybe playing football so that you can come back home and recite the Quran, things like that. Or you're sacrificing being on TikTok and posting maybe irrelevancies and staying at home and maybe teaching your younger ones something. So that kind of sacrifice, how can we continue to make it, and how do we cultivate that discipline that you spoke about in our daily lives and still being a modern Muslim?
Well, the first thing you need is sabr. You need endurance for whatever the modern society will throw at you. Because now this time we're living in, no matter the way you dress, if you dress based on the Islamic mode, people will see you as unfashioned or old-fashioned. And if you the way you act, they will say you are local. The way you speak, they will think of you as uncivilized. So you need that patience, because if you're not careful, that pressure can end up crushing you, and you end up losing your way also. So patience is the first thing you require as a Muslim youth, and trying to trying to discipline yourself. And also, you need the patience in your daily routine, as you have to structure your days around the Islamic practices. Because no matter how busy you are, when it is time for prayer, you have to leave it and pray. So try to set dedicated times for your Quran recitations, your prayers, and other forms of ibadat, while still pursuing your whatever goal it is you want to pursue. Yes, and also embrace modesty in your dressing. If you're fashionable, be fashionable in your choices. Express your personal sense of style and creativity while still adhering to the Islamic guidelines. Also, make sure that what you're wearing covers your body completely, and without showing any part of you. And also, you should guard your interactions with other people. Try to maintain an appropriate boundaries with relationships with both men and women. Be generous and kind to people, but do not participate in any kind of gossiping, backbiting, or any kind of harmful speeches. And also seek like-minded companionship. Surround yourselves with friends that shares your Islamic commitment. Seek a positive and social cycle that that engage in activities and discussion that will also help you in adhering to that Islamic principles.
MashaAllah. With this, we'll be going on a short break. This is an ad by Khila Culture. They have one of the best modest dresses for the working class, and they strive to keep a balance. They strike a balance between working Muslims and our fashion sense. So you should check them out. Assalamu alaikum. from the short break. I hope you enjoyed it. We've been talking with Hawa Muhammad Kabir on how to remain a modern but religious teenager. We've discussed at length how we can live as a 21st century teen and still remain relevant in the deen. We've learned how we can embody the spirit of Islam in our dressing and relations with people. We've also talked about how the greatest jihad is the battle of one's own temptations, and how we can cultivate Islamic discipline in our daily life and still be the modern lady we want to be. So the discussion continues. When you cultivate discipline in your daily life as a Muslim, you become tilted to the right direction. You maximize productivity and you're able to do most things that your other peers can't do. Because what you already have a plan, you have a goal, you have an aim, you have somewhere you want to go. Basically, it's like you said, you're just setting a standard for yourself so that you can be of use, you can benefit the Muslim Ummah, and you can contribute your own quota to the Ummah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So how do we avoid misinterpreting or misquoting Islam? Because, we have this selective way of learning from the Quran and the Sunnah, or from even Islam as a whole. And we tend to take, things that make us happy. We tend to take the good stuff from the Quran. We tend to take the Jannah parts. We tend to take the parts that only, show us as pleasing as good Muslims, and we tend to forget the repercussions, the punishments, and all the warnings, the signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us. So as a Muslim youth who is trying to maybe spread the word of Islam, how do we avoid misquoting or misinterpreting the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam or even the Quran itself?
Okay, first of all, while you are seeking that knowledge, while you are trying to gain a comprehensive understanding of Islam, do it through reliable sources like the Quran and the Hadith, and also by through the interpretations of the scholars, so that you can grasp the correct context and intended meanings. And also, if you don't have the knowledge, do not try to interpret, or do not try to interpret any verses or saying of the Hadith just because you have a little knowledge or basic foundation in Arabic or Islamic knowledge. Do it, but if you want to do it through the way the Islamic scholars who have really studied Islam did it. And if you're confused about anything, seek clarification from recognized scholars, and examine your intention also while you are examine your intention when discussing or representing Islam. Approach the subject with sincerity and genuine desire to spread an accurate knowledge and understanding of Islam.
So lastly, I want to ask you personally now, why do you think people are being selective of what we learn of the deen? Because quite all right, we are supposed to strive to learn everything of the deen, but people are specifically specific, they try to learn, just like I said, just the good things. Why do people do that, and how can we stop it?
Okay, you see, as it is of human nature to always go to the side where it is sweeter and easier for you. So while reciting or while reading the Quran and hearing the tafsirs and about Islam and all that, you will also be selected. You will think that, okay, I am doing this, mine is like, I am, okay, let's say, okay, I pray all the time, so that means I don't have to fast, because, okay, I'm doing something good, the world is not doing it, that means I'm better than other people. But what Islam is, when you say Islam, it means complete submission. You have to submit yourself completely to Allah. So what you are expected is to do both the hard and the easy thing. The easy things, that is, if you're fasting, that doesn't mean you are good enough. You have to pray. If you're praying, you have to give out zakah and do the hajj and all that. That is what makes you a good Muslim. So as a thing, don't think just because you are better than someone, because you saw someone not doing what you are doing makes you better, so you just continue doing the bad things. No, Jannah is not guaranteed to you. You have to work hard, you have to strive for it. So that
kind of thing. Okay, so we've been discussing with Hawa Muhammad Kabir and how to remain a modern but religious teenager, and we've talked at length about living as a 21st century teen and still remaining relevant in the deen, embodying the spirit of Islam in our dress code and our relations with people. We've discussed the greatest jihad being the battling of temptations of one's own soul and the cultivation of Islamic discipline in our daily life. We've talked about misquoting and misinterpreting Islam, how you can avoid all that. We've also talked about not being selective of things we've learned of the deen and how we implement it in our daily lives. So Hawa, what are your parting messages for our viewers today? What would you want to tell them?
Okay, Islam is a complete, comprehensive way of life. It teaches us how to interact with the environment, how to interact with people, form good relationship with those surrounding us, and form good relationships with our family. So if you want to be modernized, be modern, but do not be materialistic or self-absorbed. You can be the modern person you want to be and still remain the good Muslim you are supposed to be. So may Allah make us among the best Muslims. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Now, looking at Hawa's last messages for our viewers, she said we should be as modern as we want to be, but stay in line with our Islamic values, and we should not be materialistic, promiscuous, or self-absorbed. So, my dear viewers, we've been discussing how to remain a modern but religious teenager. If you're just joining or if you're just seeing this, coming across this episode, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is Talk That Talk with Ardent Flair. I am Maryam Umar Mariga. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for watching.